6 conferences now, 5 conferences now, might have 6 or 7 depending on how lacrosse goes. How many moving parts went into this decision and how all this is going to work out for the university?
Yeah, it's a very unique allotment of sports that we have. Only the Big Ten and the Ivy League has the allotment of sports that we do. And so there's a few other Division I schools that do as well. And so it does cause some conflicts when you have the assortment of sports, and really there's only a few conferences that really have all those sports all in one, and so it makes it a little bit difficult. And so when we looked at the competitive side of it, for your marquee sports, as well as you want to make sure that geographically it's still a good fit, and so I mean those are a lot of things that we took into consideration. But yeah, it was a bit of a headache to try to figure everything out, and we still have 2 sports still to figure out, and those are things that we're working on right now.
When you look at the Horizon League across the board, I mean, how much of a step up is this for all your programs, softball, soccer, volleyball, not just men's and women's basketball?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, the Horizon League, volleyball is an example. It's the number 7 ranked RPI conference in the country. It's, Coach Dargo's 25-5, 17-1 in the regular season, and I think he had the 4th highest RPI, within the Horizon League. And so soccer has been very, very successful, both on the NCAA postseason side for a number of years. Same thing with softball, and so that's one of the things that you look for. You want to get into a conference that gives you the ability to kind of step up your competitiveness, and that's something that the Horizon League fulfills for all the sports, all 10 sports that are going to be members.
It hasn't always been that way. Think about schools like Valparaiso and Butler, but as you're entering the conference, predominantly public schools. Is that something that was a point of maybe question or something that wasn't a concern for you guys at all?
I think it's more of a concern maybe for presidents of conferences, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we're looking at the competitive side. We're looking at the athletic side, and so for us, I mean, that was what our number 1 consideration was. And same thing with the Horizon League commissioner and his staff. I mean, we're looking for what's a great fit for us on the competitive side. And we have one private institution, Detroit Mercy, and we make the second. And of course, it was built on private institutions, and as they ended up departing through the years, they invited a lot of the different state institutions. But geographically, again, it's a great fit for us, and we're excited about being members.
Do you have a sense of how the basketball schedule is going to work with? They've done the scheduling pairs thing in the past. Is that something that's going to continue?
Yeah, it'll be a little bit of a jumble this year, probably. I mean, I think it's going to be a 20-game schedule, very similar to what we would have had in the NEC. We may be making some trips out, coming back, going, so it'll be a little tougher for us the first year. But again, Coach Toole and Coach Vistegula, I mean, they were more than happy to be able to have that postseason opportunity. That was much more important than maybe, some travel that's inconvenient the first year. And then as we get into the regular scheduling moving forward, we should be with our travel partners like what you would with any conference.
I asked Andy if this makes it easier to keep players. Does this make it easier to keep Andy?
As he continues to do well, there's going to be schools that come after him. We know that, and those are things we're always taking consideration. And we're excited to have him for as long as we have him. But he's very passionate about RMU. He's been again, he's going into his 11th year as head basketball coach, and so he's been committed to this program. He's helped build this program. He helped build this facility, and so we're fortunate to have him, and hopefully. He retires here, but he's young. He's not even 40 years old, and he's got nominated as one of the top 40 under 40 coaches. So again, we're happy with the success we have, competitive excellence, and we'll worry about that when that time comes. But we'll do everything we can to keep it.
Obviously, until this building opened, I think getting it opened and getting it open successfully was the big focus of this athletic department. How much of now is getting it filled? A focus, and obviously coronavirus concerns at the moment aside, as a long-term goal, how does the move to Horizon League impact your ability to increase the excitement level for fans here?
Well, that's one of the things that's a little disappointing. It's been a roller coaster of a ride. I mean, you end up winning the NEC tournament, you have the excitement, everyone will be buying more season tickets, and we have a really good, what we felt, a student engagement plan for this year for the student section. We've hired on an outside multimedia rights holder to come in and help us with our ticket sales, and so we put a lot in place, and then the pandemic hit, and so it kind of put a little bit of stop to that roller coaster, and so we're hoping that the Horizon League membership helps increase the season ticket sales for those that are not already current season ticket holders. And so we will have a pretty comprehensive marketing and branding plan that we're going to unveil in August. And so I feel pretty confident based on the success of the programs as well as the initiatives we're putting in on the marketing branding side that will hopefully increase attendance, because last year was a record for RMU.
Does the fact that it's a potential multi-bid league and you don't have the conference tournament games at home sort of make those regular season games a bigger property? Because there's there's been years in this in the Soul Center where come February, and it was hard to figure how much a regular season game mattered, because you knew they were going to go to the conference tournament, you knew they were going to get a high seed, and if they didn't win it, you knew it didn't matter. And now there's a different set of goals that make the regular season more important. Does that kind of track?
Yeah, uniqueness of, I will start off by saying that with the conference tournament, the quarterfinals are played on campus, and then the semifinals and final will be played in Indiana. There's a uniqueness about that. I came from the WAC conference, and most conferences will have it at a neutral location, and it's a really exciting for the families, the friends of the players, and our fan base and supporters. And so to be able to go and be part of March Madness at a neutral site. But the unique thing is that we finally are going to have scheduling where it's going to be what do they call that? I'm drawing a blank here a little bit. The doubleheaders are gone for men's and women's basketball, and so you'll be playing Thursday, Saturday, and women's will be on the road, and then women's will be playing next Thursday, Saturday, men's will be on the road. And so that type of scheduling helps you as far as folks wanting to come to the games. And doubleheaders are tough. They're tough for the players, they're tough for the coaches, but they're also tough for the fan bases. And so that's one of the unique things about the Horizon League that we're excited about.
You said football was a kind of a challenge for finding a place that you made this move. Is that something where maybe you think this would have happened years ago if there was a convenient fit that made more sense for basketball and football together? Is that kind of one of the sticking points of why this decision kind of had been rumored about for so long, but it's now happening?
Yeah, it's uniqueness, and Pittsburgh's in a, are you an East Coast school or are you a Midwest school, right?
Yeah.
And so when you look at the different geographic proximities of conferences, a lot of the East Coast schools, they don't have football, right? And then the Midwest schools do have football, and then of course the investment that they put into that. So it's a uniqueness, because when football started here, it was non-scholarship, and then they went up to I think 30 scholarships, and then they went up to the current 45. And so most of the FCS conferences that are within the geographic proximity are at the maximum limit of 63 for FCS. And so to be able to balance all that and put it all together can be a little bit difficult. And we're fortunate that the Big South Conference was committed to football and the focus on football here at RMU, and so it all kind of worked out, and we're excited about both conferences.
I assume you have a plan to eventually get to 63, and does playing some of those bye games sort of play into that?
Yeah, and, those are things that we'll do over a few years. The other thing is that the uniqueness of when they say it's 45 scholarships, what you do is you stack what's called academic aid.
Yeah.
And so we're actually at almost 57 scholarships. So you're looking at adding at least 6 scholarships over a number of years, and those bye games do come in, and those are reasons why a lot of FCS programs will play the FBS programs to probably offset those scholarship costs that enables you to become much more competitive in the league that you compete in, so you can have a chance at the FCS playoff berth.
Overall, the Horizon League is a big step forward for the athletic department. Where do you think the biggest growth potential there is with this move? How can this really help Robert Morris take the next step forward?
Well, again, I talked about the geographics, and the locations, and you got Cincinnati and Cleveland and Chicago and Milwaukee and Indianapolis, and to be honest with you, I mean, it's not just athletics; it's also this potential enrollment opportunities that you have for the student body and the incoming classes, and it kind of branches you out a little bit from, say, maybe the East Coast, the DC area, the New York area. Now you're being able to expand out to some of the biggest metropolitan cities, with 7 of the top 36 media markets. And so, it's a lot of decisions are made not just for athletics, but it's also made for academic and enrollment reasons in an institution. And so, athletically, I think it's going to elevate all of our programs, without a doubt. And so the competition level there in the Horizon League, it's pretty strong, and I think all of our coaches are pretty excited, and you know, they're going to be out there recruiting to the Horizon League now. You know, there's something about that brand and the exposure for prospective student athletes to come here and compete now. You know, to be part of a team that's in the Horizon League.